Well, it should you summon time. I don't know what the hell that was. But anyways, this week we actually have a somewhat more low-key banner week because I mean the last couple times we've had, a Nora, we've had an ancient banner, all of this stuff. Now it's just simple 2x and a rate up banner. And this rate up banner is honestly pretty good. There's a couple things to like here. So if you fulfill some of the requirements I'm going to talk about in this video, then you are going to want to pull on this banner. So starting off, this is a Hassett and Twyla banner, as well as the first introduction to Phelan, who will be pullable all the time, but this is a rate up for her. She is okay. I mean, she's a poisoner. She only poisons. I don't think she's really going to have that many places to shine, though they are definitely leading up to Numera getting released, who is someone who benefits a lot from poisoners. So Phelan will get some use with her. That's kind of besides the point, right? The main reason why you pull on banners is for the legendaries. And the legendaries for this one are very good. First of all, Hatsut used to, in my opinion, be the best hero in the game. That no longer stays. I think there are a couple legendaries that are better, but she is one of the most versatile units in the entire game. She is so good for progression. It is insane. She's a must-have for progression. Gear Raid 2, stomps, solo DPSs. Gear Raid 3, her and Silas are like the two most important DPS. Gear Raid 1, you can absolutely use her, right? These things are all really good. AMR 22, which is a pretty hard stage early on, she's amazing for that. She's amazing for Gear Dungeon 2, which you'll get to later. I mean, you could use her in early guild boss. She's so good everywhere. Of course, once you go into late game, her usage become a little less, but she is still very good. GVG, Arena, Gear Dungeon 2, these are all areas where she is so good. And she honestly shines in a ton of campaign stages, a ton of event stages. She is good everywhere. That's the thing about Hatsut that's so interesting. Basically, she's invisible for a while. She puts out defense reduction. She kind of does AoE attacks because her basic attacks bounce, so she's spreading that a lot of the time. And her ult is such an insane AoE nuke around her position. She is insanely good. Awakening wise, I wouldn't really go for any awakenings, but if you do not have Hatsut, I think this banner becomes a must pull for a lot of people. Next month, we can predict Numera coming out, Malric, which you could check out my video for him. He's like a mage, dual form hero, whatever. That's what we can expect next month. But honestly, if you don't have Hatsut, I would pull for her now. She is so good. I use her almost all the time. I freaking love Hatsut, man. Hatsut is such a carry for a lot of things. And she's still one of the better legendaries in this game. Now, moving on to Twyla, let's say you miss Hatsut and you pull a Twyla. Is that good? And the answer is yes. I don't think Twyla is so good to the point where you have to go out of your way for her if you have Wukong and Kagiri. If you have Wukong and Kagiri, you're probably not going to use Twyla for a lot of things. But if you're missing one of the two, it's actually quite likely that you're going to use Twyla for a few things. Twyla, when she came out, was so strong, and then Wukong came out, so she's been a bit overshadowed, but she's one of the better boss killers in this game, especially for the Nightmare faction, which is the best boss killing faction in the game, in my opinion. Obviously, there's some other ones that are really good, but Nightmare is the most versatile. You're going to use them in Guild Boss 1. You're going to use them in Abyss. You're going to use them in Watcher. You're going to use them in Arena if you don't have the better options. You're going to use them in a couple others if you don't have the better options. In my opinion, Nightmare is the best faction in the game, or at least they're up there. They're so useful in so many areas. Twyla is not usable in a lot of areas, but she is such a specialist in guild bosses. She does an insane amount of damage. Basically, anywhere that her one-tile range can go into effect, you are going to get value out of Twyla. Now, her A1 is also incredibly powerful. She puts out bleeds. She does a lot of multi-hits. She's really strong. But it kind of depends on what your account looks like. Like I said, if you have Kagiri and Wukong, you're probably not going to use her. If you have an Awakened Salazar, you're not really going to use her that much. If you have an Awakened Arians, A3 or above, you're not going to use her that much. right? That's kind of what Twyla is to me. Is a happy pull, a pull that you might use if you don't have the meta options. But what's interesting about Twyla is when she came out, she was like a must-have Guild Boss damage dealer, and immediately, like a month or two later, became no longer in the top teams. But like I said, for the average player, if you do not have the options, I recommend getting her because she will be incredibly useful. But once again, depends on what you're dealing with. If we go up into these rankings, you're going to see a lot of Yuri, Wukong, Lust. Twyla will pop up a couple times, doing a lot of damage. Twyla is amazing, right? But I would say with Hatsit, Malric coming out, and we just had a Nora, I wouldn't really focus her unless you just don't have any Guild Boss DPS, in which case she is good to go for. I know it's a bit convoluted what I'm saying, but I'm just saying, like, there's so many alternatives that you really don't need her like you do Hatsit. So I would say Hatsit, if you don't have, is a must-have. Twyla, if you want her for collection, you're missing any good DPS, or you don't have the better options, or at least the equivalent options, then Twyla is worth pulling for. I think no matter who you get, as long as they're new or even for Awakenings, you're going to be happy because these are two very strong units. Their Awakenings are solid. Hatsit's main Awakening is the A5. Outside of that, it doesn't matter that much. Oh, and the A2 is pretty good, the extra attack. And Twyla, her A1 and her A3 are both good. So it's okay to go for this banner, miss the character that you want to go for, get the other one. The good thing about having the banners with two good legendaries on them is no matter what you get, you're going to pull something good versus something like, let's say, the Eloin Magnus banner that we had many months ago. If you pull Magnus, you're going to get really pissed. So that's also a benefit to this banner and a reason why you could pull. Realistically, like I said, if you do not have Hatsit, I would go for Hatsit. If you don't have Twyla, think about if there is a better hero to save for. If you're missing an Eloin, if you're missing, a Silas, if you're missing a Vierna, if you're missing stuff like that, then I would save, is all I am trying to get at. But at the end of the day, something that I try to emphasize in these Should You Summons is while I am recommending you guys pull a certain way, I also recommend that you pull in a way that is fun to you. If you want a hero, you think you're going to have fun with a hero, pull for the hero. It doesn't really matter if it's the best move for your account. You get so many summons in this game that you can afford to skip, or you can afford to pull, even if it's not the best idea for you. At the end of the day, just do what you enjoy. So quickly, a little bit of shameless promotion. If you want to support me, get a little bit more bang for your buck, some discounted W gold, you can go to my Smile One link, which will be linked down below in the description. Also, until the 27th, we will be able to get one of these really solid bundles. $5, well, technically $4.50. You can get 12 rare summons, some stamina, some gold. You get a Piercer faction bundle for $43, $26 for 30 rare crystals, and 600 diamonds. You can see everything here, right? There's a lot of things. I get a commission. You get to save a little money on summons if you are planning on spending. Never spend outside of your means, and that will be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. And Destined signing out.